Sam Raimi Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire. Can it still happen? Yes. Will it still happen? Yes. But will it happen how we think it may happen? Not exactly, but it will happen. Let's discuss. I'm going to tell you exactly why right now. Cameron Kelly Smith, Movies and Wrestling. Let's go. Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name's Cameron Kelly Smith. Be sure to hit that subscribe and notification button to stay tuned on the content I produce each and every week in the world of wrestling and movie related discussions. So it has not been very long now since Disney and Sony announced that they were going to be splitting and not continuing their co-financing deal for the future Spider-Man movies, and as a result Spider-Man was going to be taken out of the MCU. Well, it seems effective immediately, and they have not come to any new agreement in terms of a deal as of this recording, and so it does seem like the companies will be going their separate ways in relation to the Spider-Man property at the moment. However, this caused a whole lot of speculation in terms of what Sony will do next. A lot of fear and a lot of complaints that Sony may go back to how they was operating with their last Amazing Spider-Man movies with Andrew Garfield, and that plans may go to crap, or that they may try and rush something. And personally, we don't know that. We don't. Let's cut them a bit of slack. There's a whole lot of hate on Sony rather than Disney for this split, and I don't know why. And I would argue that if you really do put all the blame on Sony for this, you either don't understand business or you just don't understand the studio system, in my opinion, even though I do want this deal to happen. However, let's still keep in mind that Sony made Into the Spider-Verse arguably, in a lot of people's eyes, the best Spider-Man movie ever made. It was fantastic. They made Spider-Man 2, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2. Amazing. So let's cut Sony some slack. I think that there is an opportunity that they can do really well here, and we should be optimistic that they do well, because we don't want bad Spider-Man movies. We want good Spider-Man movies. Anyhow, this has caused a lot of talk about what Sony may do in the future. Obviously, we know that Sony is shaping up their own Spider-Verse with Morbius, starring Jared Leto, set to come out, I believe, next year. We have Venom 2, which is set to come out as well, I think next year or the year after, I cannot remember, directed by Andy Serkis. We're going to have Carnage being introduced into that universe. And so now there's been a lot of speculation that Spider-Man is going to be integrated into these properties, and that we're going to have Sony building up their own Spider-Verse. But then there's also been a lot of talk about the possibility of Sony being able to really expand, and that being making a movie with Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire, which is all of the Spider-Man from the past 20 years or so, essentially coming together and starring in a movie. Now, Spider-Man 4 is something that we all wanted to see. People who grew up on that original trilogy, Spider-Man 4 is a movie we wanted to see. We wanted to see a more conclusive ending, and ending on a better note than what we saw in Spider-Man 3. But Spider-Man 4 did not happen due to financing issues, disputes between Sam Raimi and Sony, and so as a result, that project was shut down. But Spider-Man 4, I believe, will happen. The opportunity is right there. It's on the plate. It's literally ready for the taking. And here's how they do it. Now, obviously, the big option is going to be if they would actually do a legitimate Spider-Man 4 movie. And I mean, as in Sam Raimi coming back. Obviously, Sam Raimi just directed Cruel, which had got a lot of big buzz and some hype because of people who were really enjoying that movie. And so if Sam Raimi came back to direct a Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire, would that still happen? Now, I don't think that movie specifically would or could happen for a few reasons. I don't know if Sam Raimi would be willing to come back and do another Spider-Man movie. I don't know if Tobey Maguire at his age would be willing to get into the physical condition and the conditioning needed for that role. And then thirdly, I think that if they were to do that movie, then, you would kind of be sidetracking Tom Holland at the universe that you currently have there, which I think a lot of people are still invested in and want to continue seeing. So that's number 3. However, that doesn't mean that Spider-Man 4 or a version of Spider-Man 4 could not still happen, because here's how you do it. And that is simply Into the Spider-Verse. They open the floodgates and showing how you can make a Spider-Man movie incorporating the whole entire Spider-Verse, but in the animated realm, so that way you don't have to cross over into the live action realm and risk messing up any stuff or causing continuity issues or confusing your audience. We already saw at the end of Spider-Verse, there was a little post-credit scene where they was introducing Spider-Man 2099. And so that is an easy way that they could, if they wanted to, introduce Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man into that movie and kind of have the Spider-Man 4 that we wanted, but with a twist, incorporating it into the Miles Morales story and what's going on there. And then that way we kind of get a nice conclusive end. The second way is that they could just make a Spider-Man 4 animated movie full stop. I would be fully into that. You don't even have to get Sam Raimi to direct if you didn't want to, although that would be great. But you could have Tobey Maguire come back, voice the character, and it would be great. It would be fun. It would be a lovely little adventure. It would be obviously on the side to Tom Holland's Spider-Man because it would be an animated realm, and it would be fun. However, the third option, which is a big option that a lot of people are getting excited about, or the prospect of about it, and if it could actually happen, and that is a live action Spider-Verse movie with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. I am all for this. I would be there on day one. The big issue with that, however, is how does this movie come about? Because if you were going to do that, you would kind of not necessarily have to retcon everything that's come before it, which is kind of going to be an issue that Sony will face now that Spider-Man is out of the MCU. They're going to kind of have to, do some things there where it does come across to the audience that it's either still in the same universe or partly or whatever. They're going to have to do something. So there is an opportunity there also to be able to somehow, in shifting the universe slightly to adopt to Spider-Man not being in the MCU, you could then somehow use a device where Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man come back. Andrew Garfield in particular, I think, would be completely up for doing it. I think that's a big opportunity. Whether Sony do it or not, I'm not sure, but I would not put it past them. The president and CEO of Sony Pictures recently came out and made a statement where he was being very nice, actually, talking about the split from Disney and saying that he believes that they will be fine and that they have the tools necessary to succeed. And people were hating on this statement, saying Sony can't make a good Spider-Man movie. They made Into the Spider-Verse. They made Spider-Man 2. Cut them some slack. Let's see what they can do, because why not? What's the next alternative right now? What, to just complain forever? We can't do that. Come on. So let's see what they can do. So those are the options. I think Spider-Man 4 as a concept in regards to Tobey Maguire coming back as Spider-Man is very, very possible. If I had to choose one, I would choose the animated route, an animated Spider-Man 4 movie. I would love that, and I think that is a lovely little way to cap off. However, there is something really, really appetizing in terms of seeing Tobey Maguire actually come back in a live Spider-Man movie. My kid heart would explode, and I'm all for it. But guys, let me know what you think. Do you think that Spider-Man 4 is a possibility, whether it be an animated movie, whether it be through Into the Spider-Verse, whether it be a live action movie where it's actually just a continuation of Spider-Man 3, or whether you think that it would be a live Into the Spider-Verse movie with Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, and Andrew Garfield? Let me know what you think. Jump down in the comment section below. Thank you for checking out my video, guys. If you like this video, give me a big fat thumbs up. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good day.